Hi viewers, welcome to our signature segment, See the Stories. Now in school, the core science subjects are usually biology, chemistry, and physics, often collectively known as the three main sciences. Now these subjects explore living organisms, chemical reaction, and physical phenomena respectively. I have a question for Aris. What was your favorite science experiment in school that you can remember? Because that's been a long time ago, right?
It's been a long time. The mung bean experience.
Okay.
Growing mung bean experience. So we put the mung bean inside the cotton, and then we make it humid and leave it in a dark place, and it will grow in several days.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
That's the last thing I remember about science.
One of the things that I remember is the baking soda balloon experiment. So baking soda and water, and then the balloon will, it will inflate on itself, right?
Yes.
That's pretty cool too. Well, you know what? Some people might think science is a boring subject with complicated formulas and confusing terms. But did you know that there are many benefits for children to learn science?
So scientific activities help children develop critical thinking skills as they learn to analyze, observe, and also draw conclusions from observations. Beyond mere scientific words and actions, engaging in science instills a scientific mindset where children will continue to approach problem solving grounded in logic, evidence, and also continuous learning.
Science fosters a tangible connection between children and the world around them, making learning relevant to their lives. Now, by linking scientific concepts to everyday experiences such as environmental concerns or medical breakthroughs, children gain a deeper understanding and engagement with their surroundings.
Well, to know more about how to make science fun, especially for kids, join us in the studio, Yunita Ingram. Am I correctly?
Yes, right.
Welcome, Yunita, from Junior Lab Indonesia founder. Thank you for coming with us.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here with you guys.
Yes, we are so excited because both of us, we're both parents.
Yeah.
We have kids, and my kids love science in school. I don't know about yours.
She's still two.
That's right, she's still two. I'm
but
sorry.
But she has a lot of curiosity. I grant.
Yeah, so I want people to understand why science is so, so interesting for kids, right? So this is what we're gonna learn. So can you please tell us first what inspired Junior Lab Indonesia on focusing on making science fun for kids?
So our first focus is the children. We're focusing for kids from age 4 until 12 years old, and we are focusing in them because we learned that giving them science education since they are in young age is really laying the foundation for their higher order thinking skills. Like in the Bloom taxonomy, there are like 6 levels of cognitive development, and the first 3 was lower thinking skill, and then the higher one. And science really helped these kids since their early age to build foundation in their higher order thinking skills. Especially by the age of 6 years old, they would have developed their brain cells by 90%. Yeah. So parents, if you have like kids below 6 years old, you really have to maximize the time.
Oh, this is the golden time for
It's the golden time for them, and by then they are developing like the rest of their brain, about the next 10%. So that's why we are focusing on little kids. And why we want to, we aim to make it fun in every classes that we have, just like you mentioned just now, because your kids really have like curiosity. Yeah. Even your 2 years old is developing the curiosity, right? Yeah. So there's like a research that shows that curiosity kids is really very high, especially the highest point is when they are 3 years old. Oh. And after that 3, 4, but when it's like starts in 8 or 9, it's declining so much. Declining so much. So it's declining so much, and this is in line with another research by the 70s, I suppose, in the US, when they were doing like some kind of study to these kids of 2 years old. They found that among these 2 years old, 98% of them are geniuses.
Wow. Okay.
But the same study was done for the same kids by the time they are 25 years old. Yep. And by the time they are 25 years old, there are only 2% that are genius. So what happened within those times, it's the same, it's kind of like the same, what you call it, happening with the curiosity that is declining so much. So by making science fun, we want to keep the curiosity of these kids, so it keeps on growing, so it will develop their creativity and also especially their love of learning.
Right.
So whatever subject they are doing later, they will have the curiosity.
And so what I can get is we should start early. And what age groups does Junior Lab Indonesia primarily target? And how do you adapt activities for different age ranges?
So these kids, they are, all kids are born naturally curious. So even the earliest you introduce science to your kids will be good. For our class, we start from 4 until 12 years old. Before 4 years old, you can do like a more simple activity at home. Start from they are 4 years old, they will have more curiosity. Usually they have like more questions, difficult questions that parents are like having trouble answering maybe. So
Difficult questions.
you love difficult questions, we too in the class. So we target our kids from 4 until 12 years old, and because they have different ability in their age, in the range of age that they have, we divide them into 4 levels. We have alpha class for 4 to 5 years old, beta class for 6 to 7, gamma for 8 to 9, and the highest one is delta from 10 to 12. By the time they finish delta, we suppose they are ready to enter the junior high with more complex and challenging science. And we even expect that our students will be even more advanced and ready for the difficult science that more challenging and more complex science that they will have when they are in junior high and senior high, something like that.
I have a question. So you mentioned earlier that there's a research that mentioned after age of 8, the curiosity will decline. So is there any challenges for your class when it's the kids are at that age?
Yes, usually kids about like 8 to 9, they are more like skeptical. So they are not like as interested, and it takes like more energy to make them interested and engaging. But we have like kids like this. There are some that's so excited, some that is like less excited. But once we give them daily life example, then they will start to connect what are we learning with their, it's actually applied in daily life. Once they know how to apply it, they are interested. They would want to know more, they become more curious.
They need to experience it first.
Yes, and they need to, you know, science concepts are usually abstract. They need to see the concrete form of it. That's why we give them examples, daily life, examples, what they have in their surroundings, something like that.
That's something that they can relate to, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now we want to know what is the most common misconception about science? How are you going to try to aim to address that?
Especially for children.
For children. Actually, you just mentioned it at the beginning just now. Many people think that science is boring, difficult, only for the ones who wants to become scientists, you know,
and
only for the nerds,
nerds.
For the super genius that is like for the nerdies. Well, actually, science is actually for everyone, and even right now, I would say in all jobs that you're having, you need science. For example, if you're in F&B, food and beverage, you would need science to how do you make your food last longer? What do you need to put? And what is the nutritional value of the food? And then how to have the kind of food you want, whether you have to put high heat first at the beginning or maybe low heat to bring the flavor or something like that. Even for stay-at-home moms, we need science all the time. Like when we do groceries, nowadays there are like, I don't know how many kinds of eggs are there. If I want to buy like eggs, I have to like read one by what's the difference, this egg, that egg, you know, where is it from? Even eggs only, we need to have like at least basic science to make decisions. So having science will help us to make more critical thinking in the decision making. So we will, when we decide something, we know we have considered these different aspects, you know, and we are able to do it. So science, I would say, is not only the knowledge, but also the skill. The critical thinking skill, the problem solving skill.
Problem solving, I know.
Yeah.
Because it's really interesting when you mention about cooking, because as we know, when we put too many tomato sauce in food, it will be too sour. And the most common thing, people put sugar in it to reduce the acidity. But instead to put sugar, we should put baking soda to neutralize or reduce the, if I'm not mistaken, pH, the pH. And then it will, the sour, the acidity will decrease and the food will be taste better.
That's basic science, yeah?
It's basic science.
Yeah, it's
Even
used
though
in everyday life, I would say.
That's right. And speaking about this, how do you involve parents? Especially during these activities.
Yes. It's very important to involve parents. So, especially when they're in their early age, we focus in kindergarten and elementary students. These kids are not making decisions by themselves. So parents are making decisions for them.
Right.
That's right.
So, what we do is we are open for, we make ourselves available if parents want to have like discussion about their kids, the progress that they're making. We also have like semestral progress report that we will give to the parents. In Junior Lab, we're focusing in two main goals, which is their critical thinking and their creative thinking. So we are reporting to the parents how's the progress of the student in those two aspects, and also what are the strengths of the kids, and also what the kids needs to improve. Maybe the kids needs to do this more, or at home the kids have to do this, something like that.
Okay. Now, like I said earlier also that my kid, my 8-year-old, loves science in school, but she did mention that some of her friends doesn't really like science as much as she does. And so how do you handle that for kids that show a little interest in science?
So yeah, for kids that show little interest, we would, like I mentioned just now, we have, because I would say they not interested because it's like, what for? It's like not important, you know, because it's not interesting for them too. So we have to make that's why we give them daily life examples. That's why in Junior Lab we always have like hands-on activity also. Hands-on activity. So the abstract concept, we want them to know how it is applied in daily life, and also how when we're doing it. By the time we're doing hands-on activity, I think we never find any students that not interested to do it. They would want to try, they would want to do something. So even though at the beginning they were not very interested to it, but once we are discussing about it and once we are doing the hands-on activity, they will be like, oh, I didn't know if this can be like this. Also, it's like this. So this what it means with it says that it's flowing, gravity, and whatsoever.
I love when kids say, oh.
Yes.
So
yes.
They learn something.
That's Eureka moment, right?
Speaking of hands-on activity, we will be able to get to do it later, right?
Yes.
That's right. So for viewers, do not go anywhere. See the stories will continue after the break, and we will do a science experiment. Don't go anywhere.